Hello, bonjour everybody. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching my video. Today it's the Flames of War battle report and the mission would be Rearguard. In the bottom description I will write the Rearguard rules and also the two forces in present. So there's 100 points game and we will use the D-Day British and the D-Day Waffen SS book as reference. So the Canadian would be on the attack while the German will do the defense. It is in context of the Battle of Falaise where German troops, over 130,000 of them, were stuck in the valley of Falaise while trying to avoid complete destruction and also capture. So the 12 SS were requested to keep the door open for the troops to escape, and the Canadian were asked to close that door. So this is Rearguard, where the German will try to hold the Canadian and also give a chance to all the troops to escape. The forces for both teams consist of 100 points. All the points are on the table from the start. There's no reserve. The only difference is the German will have one unit in ambush. So the ambush rules will affect that unit. Just before we start turn one, we'll talk about command card. The British or the Canadian don't use any command card for this game, but the Waffen SS will use 3 command cards. I think it's really important to use those command cards as they play a defensive position as rear guard. And the first card I'm going to use is the dug-in Panzer IV platoon. It is 0 point, as you can see on the screen, really easy. And it will really help my Panzer IV to hold that position. The second card I'm going to use as command card is worth 2 points. And it's machine gun nest. Also, because we are in defensive position, machine gun nest would be exactly perfect for this kind of encounter. We have to understand that the machine gun nests are independent team. So by that, I decide to move 2 teams on each side of the table to protect the 2 objectives that my opponent put on the table. Also, they always be in conceal and bulletproof cover. So the Canadian will have to re-roll any hits before they destroy it. The last card is Tiger Ace. Because I have only 6 tanks on the table, my 4 Panzer IV that are dug in and 2 Tiger. My 2 Tiger, they are Ace crew. So for that, I'll give them also Tiger Ace card. It worth 3 points. They roll and they got deadly gunner. What that means is the unit leader may re-roll 1 failed firepower test during the shooting step. So if I miss 1 firepower to destroy an opponent, I can re-roll and get the good hit I need to destroy the opponent. So that all 3 command cards. So let's start turn 1. Third one for the Canadian on the right side of the map. My platoon of infantry just moved 8 inches, so close to the minefield, and also some troops join into the building. My platoon of Sherman here on this side of the map move a bit, fire at the Tiger, miss all his shot, so nothing happened over there. So that sector is complete. All movement and firing I've done. Let's go to the second sector. So now we're gonna move to middle sector. My Daimler move behind the rocks, the hill, so we're fine right there. My Sherman move forward so they can fire at the Puma. They managed to destroy the Puma at the rate of fire of 1 each. My headquarters Sherman move behind the house. And then my 3rd platoon of Sherman move into the blockage using the gate so they don't have to make a cross check. My infantry, they move toward the edge of the edge road there. Few units managed to pass over it. So they are right across the edge row, and they're gonna get ready to remove the minefield. So that complete turn 1 for the Canadian during that move. 2-1 for the German. The German moved their infantry against the edge here. They were a couple inches. Now they are against the edge so they can attack. The Puma failed his last 10, so out of the game. So that platoon of Puma is out of the game. And I move my quad on the road with a dash move. And lastly, I use my ambush and I put them in the forest at the far end of the map. Now, my command unit is in the far house, and they can see all the way to here. So we put the marker here for the mortar. The mortar is marked on the first try, so we use them 6 mortar. We managed to pin down the Vickers platoon, but did not destroy any of them. Then we destroy one team with the mortar from the infantry platoon. Then my Tiger tank did not move, fire 4 shot. 4 shot hit, 4 shot destroy the anti-platoon of Sherman Firefly. Then they use the Stormtrooper move and they succeed on the roll of dice, and they move behind the tree line in the back. My platoon of SS is against the bocage here, wall, and they fire at the infantry that start to go across the bocage line. They manage to hit 3 times, 3, 6, 9, 12 times the 14, so we pinned them down and destroyed 3 teams. So 1 team survived, the other 3 teams who crossed the bocage already perish on the movement. And that complete for the German turn. Turn 2 for the Canadian. At this beginning of the turn, we had the we had the boat platoon pinned down and the Vickers platoon pinned down. The Vickers were unpinned. This platoon here at this end of the table stay pinned, and at the far end they get unpinned. So firing now, we'll start with this end. Even if they are pinned, they were allowed to, or they were able to fire at the German SS platoon. Not much damage, and the quad, not the quad, but the Vickers were also firing their shot at a rate of fire of 6 each. And we pinned the platoon, but we were able to destroy only 1 team. So let's move toward the middle of the table. In the middle of the table, we have the Daimler moving around the forest there and try to outflank the Tiger, looked like, but we'll never be sure with that. Also, the command team did not move, so they were able to see the marker for the artillery toward the 2 machine gun MJ42 entrenchment. And also we move my platoon of Sherman Firefly in the middle of the map. So they are hiding from the Tiger and the Panzer IV with the hill, and they get ready to go through behind the hill. They did fire at the MG42 without any consequence. Now, when the 25 pounder hit the target, they hit on the 3rd attempt, so they had a +2. Unfortunately, nothing happened to the MG42 team, but they were able to destroy one of the quad vehicles on the road. At this end of the table, the only infantry that crossed the hedgerow were close enough to the minefield, so they removed the minefield, they cannot move. The rest of the platoon stay put. They had a HQ command infantry beside them, so that's why they were able to re-roll their unpin, be able to get unpinned. the Sherman platoon here with the Firefly start to cross the edge row. Because they cross where there's a gate, they don't have to do a cross check, they can just drive through it. Only 2 vehicles cross. They fire machine gun against the infantry without much success. So that completes turn 2 for the Canadian. Turn 2 for the German. We'll start with rearguard rules that say on turn 2, the German have to count their unit if they have more than 6 or a total of 6 with the point when they are under 6 at the beginning of the tour, they have to remove 1 unit. So the German decide it's time for the 250 reconnaissance platoon who was on the railroad to move out and try to escape. So they are gone. Then we add the platoon of a Panzergrenadier here at this end, at the edge of the bocage. They were pinned, they were able to unpin, and they decide just to back off. So they back off 8 inches. So it's just enough to go over the edge row on the middle. So that's for this end of the game. Here in the middle of the map, we had 2 tigers in the middle of, behind the forest over there. They rolled for a blitz, they were successful, and with their move, they moved 14 inches in the middle of the field, so they give them a direct shot to the platoon of Sherman Firefly. They fire 1 shot each, they miss, and then decide to use the Stormtrooper rules. They roll, they were successful, they back up another 4 inches near the aim point for the Canadian, or there. In the middle also we had the 2 Puma who move at the cross section of the road there. They were more than 16 inches from the Sherman Fireflies in the middle of the map. They fire each one a shot. They miss, so nothing happened. At this end we had the quad who did road dash move of 24 inches to try to go across the map and support the infantry stuck in the bocage there. We also had the heavy machine gun near the first objective of the Canadian there, the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division. They fired toward the Daimler. They were able to hit several times, I think 5 times. But because the armor is 1 and the anti-tank is 2 of the heavy machine gun, nothing happened, everything bounced against the Daimler. So that completes turn 2 for the German. Turn 3 for the British, or the Canadian, we can say. The heavy machine gun get out of the wood and went into the house. So that gave them bulletproof cover, and they are behind, but still they are too far away to shoot at anybody because the edge row is too tall and too thick. My infantry moved toward the edge row, but without touching it, so the enemy team, they don't see them right now, they are just regrouping. So they just get away from the marker for the artillery. In the middle of the map, my 2 command Sherman are hiding behind the house, and I move my platoon of Sherman Firefly so they can shoot at the Panzer IV. They managed to destroy 1 Panzer IV, and they also are now hiding from the Tiger platoon. At this end of the map, the infantry just back off a bit behind the edge row. The formation command is right here, so they will ask the artillery to help them against the Panzergrenadier. And my Sherman platoon just move in formation, ready for the attack on the Panzergrenadier at the end of the edge row. We range in on the first attempt, so we managed to hit 3 times the Panzergrenadier, and one of those were this team were destroyed by the bombardment. So that completes turn 3 for the Canadian. Turn 3 for the German. First, as a rear guard, they have to set the troops back because they are comfortable enough thinking that we can move on. So the quad air defense has been sent home to regroup. The infantry in Sector 1 dig in, so they are now digging behind the bocage. So Sector 1, nothing else happened here. Sector 2, the center, the Tiger tried to do a blitz move, they failed, so they had to move, so they had to fire at their normal rate of fire. The Puma moved behind the Panzer IV, and that completes the center movement. Now, the Panzer IV that are digging, only one can see, barely see one of the Daimler. He tried a couple of shots, hit twice, and managed to destroy the Daimler. In regard to the two Tiger, they fired 2 shots, 1 missed, 1 was a hit, went to firepower, and destroyed one of the Sherman. So that completes the center of the map. Sector 3 for the German, right flank. The infantry were pinned down. We managed to unpin them, and they didn't move. They're just staying there, getting ready for combat. They tried to dig in. They're not successful on digging in. So that's where we are at. So that completes turn 3 for the German. Turn 4 for the British, Canadian. Sector 1, the Vickers team move against the edge row, and the infantry move against the edge row on this movement. When they time to fire, they fire all their rate of fire of movement. They manage to hit 2 times because they are gun to ground and foxhole and behind bulletproof cover. So they were not able to pin them down or destroy any Panzer Grenadier at the edge row. So that complete for that Sector 1. Sector 2, center of the map. My command of Sherman formation move, fire at the dig-in Panzer IV. They missed both shots. My Firefly gave 2 shots at the Tiger because they didn't move. I rolled a blitz for them, so my 2 Sherman just moved mid-hill, so they are all down, and they tried to hit the Panzer IV over there. No success there. My Firefly fired 2 shots at the Tiger, managed to hit 1 time, and bail him out. So unfortunately, and my Daimler are running fast toward the edge road. They're going to go through the gate and just move forward behind the infantry over there in the edge road. It seems like there's an opportunity opening for the Canadians through the edge road to reach the end. So Sector 3, my platoon of Sherman Firefly just moved against the edge road, and they saw in the wood beside conceal 3-inch tank 75 Pack 40, so they fired at them 1 each. They managed to destroy 2 Pack 40. Didn't care about the infantry. They are safe in their tank. My infantry move 8 inches, so they are in the middle of the edge row, getting toward the infantry there. So some good action here at the end, and that completes turn 4 for the Canadian. Sector 1, the Panzer Grenadier start to feel the heat, and they decide to leave the edge row bocage and jump on a railroad just beside the bocage end of the edge. So they are right there in the open, but on the railroad there are trees in back to protect them, so give some cover, and still they have the edge row, but they are slowly backing off toward the center of the map. Center of the map, my 2 Puma decide to go in the crop field and attack the 2 Sherman headquarters. They managed to bail him out. So it's a big, huge step for the Puma there. And my 2 Panzer IV dig in, did nothing against the other Sherman, so they all missed his shot. The Tiger bail out, he stay bail out. When you need to roll a one, that's where it happened. So he rolled one, so he stay bail out. The other have to do last 10. He got his 2, so he stay there, so they are there, ready for combat. And they fire 2 shots at the Firefly and destroy the Firefly. So they complete the center defense for the German. Sector 3, right flank. Because of the rear guard, the German decide to send out the Pack 40, one left, the chance to do the last stand and survive and fire a couple of shots. Didn't worth it, so they decide to regroup for further combat and the next mission. The infantry fire shots at the infantry, British, Canadian, coming in the edge row in the center of the field. They hit 3 times, but it's all safe, so they are good. So basically, that's complete turn 4 for the German. Sector 1 for the British, Canadian. They went against the edge row and they attacked the German Panzergrenadier right across. They destroyed 1 team of Panzergrenadier and 1 Panzerschreck, but they decide not to assault because there's too much firepower on the other side of the edge row, so they just stay against it. Middle sector here, my Sherman headquarters was bail out, remount, and they fired 4 shots against the 2 Puma and destroyed the 2 Puma there. So there's no more Puma on the table there. The German have 1 Tiger bail out, 1 Tiger on. They try to hit 4 shots from the Sherman platoon in the middle there against the hill. Miss all their shot, so nothing happened to the Panzer IV. Then the Daimler decide to go open field toward the heavy machine gun at the far end. They are too far to shoot at them, and they try to stay hiding from them. Sector 3, after heavy fire against the Panzergrenadier and succeed to pin them down, they conduct an assault. The way I understand the assault is, if they need to do a cross-check for the tank, they have to do cross-check if they want to be part of the assault. There were 2 tanks against the gate, so they pass without a cross-check because they pass without cross-check where there's gate. The 2 other tanks had to do cross-check. They were against the bocage. They succeed, and the infantry went against also the bocage wall for the assault. Even with the firepower from the heavy machine gun and the remaining Panzergrenadier, they were not able to pin them down, so they conduct the assault. They successfully destroy every Panzergrenadier during the assault, and the Canadians consolidate their position 6 inches from the heavy machine gun. So that completes the turn for the Canadian. Turn 5 for the German. They don't need to send anybody in the rear because they need to have at least a minimum of 6 units, and there's only 5 left on the table. The Panzergrenadier at this end, Sector 1, are pretty weak, but they stay old on the railroad, waiting for the enemy. They are strong, they feel strong, they have 2 heavy machine guns in the back to protect them, so they feel comfortable there. Middle sector, the German Panzer IV that 3 remaining in their entrenchment, foxhole, fire at the platoon of Sherman and the headquarters Sherman, and all missed their shot. The Tiger, they were 1 bailout, he successfully back in. They did a blitz move, and they moved to fire toward the Sector 3 where the troop of Sherman, the platoon of Sherman is coming at them. So Sector 3, the 2 Tigers who on this move turned their tank toward the platoon of Sherman coming in the back there, fire 4 shots, miss all 4 shots. Now inside the house, beside the 2 Tigers, there's the Panzergrenadier HQ team, they ask the mortar team to fire a shot toward the Sherman platoon and the infantry. So they put the marker beside the hedgerow, the bocage. They were successful. It's named a 3-2, zeroing on it, 4 because the hedgerow. So they were able to hit on the first attempt. So they need to hit the tank on 4. There's no reason because the top is 1 and the anti-tank is 1. So there's only 2 infantry they can hit and miss both shots. So that complete turn 5 for the German. Beginning of turn 6 for the Canadian. The 2 Sherman headquarters fire at the blockhouse of heavy machine gun nest. They managed to destroy it. My infantry platoon and my heavy machine gun went against the hedgerow wall, the bocage wall, and attack the Panzergrenadier. Then they assault the Panzergrenadier and destroy the infantry team of Panzergrenadier. Even after they have support from the other machine gun nests, they wasn't enough to pin them down or repel the assault. So they lost their Panzergrenadier along the railroad track. In the center of the battlefield, my two remaining Sherman in the platoon there fire 4 shots toward that dug-in Panzer IV. They managed to destroy it, so they are back to only 2 Panzer IV for the German in that sector. And that concludes the middle sector for the Canadian. In Sector 3, the 2 nests of heavy machine gun held by the Waffen SS got overrun by the platoon of Sherman. They managed to shoot at them and assault to destroy the two nests. So that concludes turn 6 for the Canadian. They are really near their objective on both sides, and there's not much troop to defend them for the German. Turn 6 for the Canadian. They move over the railroad into the objective. They were 4 inches from that last machine gun nest. They fire at him, and they managed to pin them down. They conduct the assault. At the end of the assault, they were not able to be, they were safe to be repelled from the machine gun nest, and the assault with the 3 team of infantry and 3 team of heavy machine gun. Heavy machine gun need a 5, they were doing nothing, but the infantry need only a 3 and destroy the machine gun nest. So they are onto the objective, there's nobody around, so that complete the attack for the Canadian at that sector. And for the other objective that the Canadians have to capture or hold, they are on the objective. They fire their tank at a rate of fire of not move against the Tiger. They miss the Tiger each shot, so the Tiger are safe. So they are on the objective, but the Tiger also are 4 inches from the objective, so they are not able to capture it. But I think at this point, the Canadian secure the objective, 1 at least, and that would complete my battle report on Rearguard. So that was the first time I used the Waffen SS from the D-Day Waffen SS book. They are really, if you don't have a couple good Tiger in your team, you probably don't make it long. To have the MG42 nest for 2 points really help to hold the objective on some sort, because make the enemy a bit more unsecure to assault them. Having also the 4 Panzer IV and 2 entrenchment dug in, there's plus or minus against that. If you play defensive, maybe it's a plus, but if you play on the offensive, you should not use the dog-in, even if it was 0 point. Or you decide really to force your offensive with the Panzer Grenadier and remaining of tank and keep your heavy machine gun gun nest and Panzer IV dog-in around your objective to secure it. So that complete mission Rearguard. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon with my next video.